Hello, welcome to another episode of Outside in Your Garden with the Pleasantville Garden Club. I'm Gigi.
And I'm Michael, and today we're at Garden Club member Mitzi Weissman's home and her beautiful garden, and she's going to be showing us how to do container plantings.
You know, whenever I visit Mitzi, I'm so amazed. I go, wow, look at her containers. And today we're going to find out how she manages to make those beautiful pots. And now here we are with the artist, Mitzi, and she's going to tell us all about how she does these amazing pots. I'm looking right now. She puts them in her garden. Now, is this shade here, Mitzi?
This is shade, and it doesn't have a lot of color. So sometimes I put containers right in the garden just to add a little color, and it works over here under the tree.
Yes, it definitely works under the tree. And I see you have some over here.
Yeah. This is another spot. And here there are 3 different containers, but they relate to one another because they all have the same color of the pot, and it kind of works together.
Now, how do you decide? You're going to have pink and purple and...
It's really whatever I see that appeals to me. I see things at the garden club sale. I see things in the garden center. And you just kind of have an eye for what you like. And I like color.
Yeah, and you don't, and so you're not monochromatic, obviously. You're choosing many different colors.
Right.
And so this is more in the sun.
Yes, this one is sun, this is shade, and you have to know where you're putting your containers because there's some plants that will not do well in full sun, and there are other plants that won't do well in shade. So you have to know where you're putting your pots.
And do you have to water these every day because they're pots?
Yes, and the bigger the pot, the less frequently you have to water. So I like very large pots, but these are kind of pretty because they add color.
No, they're beautiful. They look almost antique-y.
Yeah.
Yeah, so all right, let's have Michael come over and you can show him how you do this.
Okay, we're going to demonstrate on these big containers over near the patio.
So Mitzi, you've got 2 big pots over here, right? And you're going to show us what you do.
Yeah, they're not particularly pretty, but they're large and they don't have to be watered that often.
Right.
And what I do is I fill some of the recycled containers and bottles just so that I don't have to put in as much soil.
So that's in the bottom.
That's the beginning.
Right.
And then I would put the potting soil on top of that.
Okay.
Which I've done
like you've done over here.
Yes.
Yes.
And then what I would do, these are full sun.
Okay.
So these plants will all survive pretty much in sun.
So what have you chosen for us here for the full sun?
Well, I like to relate the colors.
Okay.
And I'm starting to use some of this purple. So I have pinks and purples.
Yep.
And what I would do is I would put them in the container to see how they look.
In their pots?
In the pot.
Just to see how they look.
Right.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And then I can rearrange them before I actually put them in the ground.
Beautiful.
So I have something that's tall,
Mm-hmm.
which is really what attracts people's attention. And then there's filler. And then in the front, I would put these cascading plants.
Lovely.
So
they'll hang down over the front.
Yes. So what I would do is see how it looks and try to relate. When I bought them,
Right.
I tried to relate the pinks and the purples, relate the colors. There are different ways to feed the plants, and these
little capsules.
These really work well.
Mm-hmm. So Mitzi's putting about a couple of tablespoons?
Yep, yes.
Into the top there of the already prepared compost.
Right. I mean, you can add compost, but this is very nice. And then when I water, then I also feed. But this is very good for the root base. But now what I would do is I would take the containers, open them up, and place them.
So then you're going to start with the big one first?
Yes.
Yep. So this is a lovely cleome, isn't it?
Yes, and this will bloom all summer.
Right.
All of these plants are all annuals, so they'll all bloom all summer.
So Mitzi's now ripping the edge of the root system a little bit, just to try to open up the roots so that they grow out, aren't you, Mitzi?
Yes, you kind of have to tease it a little bit.
Yep.
This one, because it's been in the nursery, is a little bit root bound.
It's a little bit root bound, yep. You can tell that by all the roots on the bottom here,
Yes.
can't you? And they don't mind being pulled apart a little
No.
bit. They're fine to pull them apart.
Right.
Do you want me to make a little hole for you?
Yes, thank you.
Sure.
So this would go towards the back. That has to,
Go a little deeper, yep. There you go.
Okay,
Okay,
that's good.
get it to the back.
Okay, now these,
That one you wanted on this side, didn't you?
yes, these are the filler. And to get these out,
You're just cutting the edge of the pot, or?
no, I'm just
you're going to divide the plant in half.
This plant came, there were 3,
Okay. So you got 3.
so
Yep.
I would put
So you
these,
put this one in here
yeah,
and pack it in. So you want to leave a bit of space in between?
not really.
Not really,
I
okay.
don't really need space, that's okay.
Okay.
So this is the next layer. So you have your tall plant in back,
Yep.
and then you have your filler that goes around it. Okay.
In here?
So it's starting to build, and all the colors of these plants,
We'll play off the other ones, right?
Yes.
Because you've chosen them all together.
so this would go towards the front.
Okay.
Now, some of these plants don't have to be deadheaded, but otherwise you have to come and cut off your spent blooms. But this would go in the front, and some of these, this also is a cascading plant.
So that'll come down over the front like the petunias.
Yes.
Yep.
And then this one, it's kind of nice if you do one on each
Either
side.
Right.
Okay, and then these, just to add a little bit of different color, the white ones, this is a very nice hanging plant. It's called Bacopa.
Bacopa.
Yes,
And again, that one's a little root bound, isn't it?
yeah, so
Yeah.
I'll open up the roots a little bit. Okay, so this one we would put here. So you have all these in front that are going to hang over. This is actually scented.
Oh,
This
so that
is-
gives you another experience, doesn't
This
it, when
is
you're out here?
basil. And because you walk past it, it smells nice. So this would be kind of filler, and then the colors relate.
Yeah.
So that's basically
So
what you would do.
The interesting thing that I've learned here is that you really fill it up, don't you,
Yes.
Mitzi?
Yes.
And that all the colors relate, and you've got different levels of height. And you've got the ones in the front that'll hang down over the bottom.
And then what I'll do is I'll do a parallel container on the other side, not necessarily exactly the same.
Yeah.
But the colors will relate.
Will relate. And then you'll have 2 of them, and then they'll match each other.
Right.
Yeah. Thank you,
So
Mitzi. That was really
that's the
informative, and I think
concept.
we've learned a lot here today.
Well,
Thank
my
you.
pleasure.
Thank you, everybody. That was a great exhibition of how to do beautiful planters.
Thank you.